Whenever dealing with the police, know your rights.
Turn that shit off. Beat manipulation. This moisture must mean precipitation or perspiration. Terminal velocity.
BBN, Jack Frost. What's up, party people? Hey, before the video even start, hit that like button. And also, subscribe and join the notification squad. Hashtag Bronx Bombers. Let's get it. Alright, so basically, in Texas, in Harris County, Texas, a Marlon Gibson had a run-in with a Shane Cates. Okay, basically what happened was Marlon Gibson was out, at least by Marlon Gibson's account, he was out mowing lawns. He actually was approached by the deputy, Shane Cates, and Shane Cates asked him what he was doing. He said, I'm mowing lawns. I mean, he had the lawn equipment. He was in front of lawns, and he was going from house to house. You know how people go from house to house, leaving their card or their flyer. He was going from house to house, leaving his card. That's what you do to drum up business, right? So the officer, for whatever reason asked him what his name was. He then began to give the officer, strike one, a fake name. Okay, whatever side of the argument you're on, when an officer approaches you and asks you for your name, you can't give a fake name. Why did he give a fake name, and why did the officer accept the fake name? Because initially the officer asked for ID, and he told the officer that he did not have ID. So he told the officer that he was a 19-year-old and he didn't have his ID on him, and I think he gave the reason was because he was working. That's not really a good reason. So the officer, who at this point, in my estimation, has not necessarily done anything wrong. You see some people in the community that you do not think that they belong in. You walk up to them and you ask them what they're doing. I mean, he can blatantly see what they're doing, so he probably, but we're going to give the officer a little bit of leeway. After asking him for his ID, the gentleman then says that he does not have an ID. That's a red flag. For anybody that does not know, that is a red flag. When a police officer walks up to you and asks you for your ID, you are supposed to produce your ID. You are. Like, literally, you are. Because they don't know who you are. You can be anyone, masquerading as anyone. And if you cannot produce your ID, what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to find out who you are. So that's one of the reasons in which why Mr. Gibson gave a fake name of, I'm guessing, someone else in his family that was underage, because if he's 19, he's not required to have ID. Whereas if he's 21, like Mr. Gibson is, well, Mr. Gibson's 20, so I'm guessing he figured he would have to have ID. But hold on, let's go a little bit further. So after the police officer writes down the name, writes down his date of birth, he then asks the police officer for his card. Police officers, whether you know it or not, whether no one has ever had an encounter with a police officer before, have cards. If you ask a police officer for their card, I'm not sure if they're required to give it to you, but they are required to tell you their name. A police officer cannot interact with you and keep his name a secret. If a police officer interacts with you, a police officer is not anonymous. He is supposed to give you his name. So he asks Mr. Cates for his name. And what does Mr. Cates do? Mr. Cates decides that he's going to take him in. Right then, right there, he is going to arrest him. This immediate red flags. Why? Mr. Cates is wrong. If you weren't going to initially arrest him, and in my estimation, if you weren't going to initially arrest him, due to the fact that he did not have an ID, you cannot now want to bring him in because he wants to know who you are. You are supposed to, and he didn't tell him who he was. It's not like he said, oh, my name is Officer Cates, and I'm going to be taking you down to the, we need to find out who you are. He gave none of these explanations, nothing. By the way, the citizen is a black youth, and the officer or the deputy is a white man. Anyway, after he pulls out the cuffs, the young man decides that he's going to back away. He's already filming this. Link is going to be in the description. He's already filming this. And after the fact, after everything happens, he ends up leaving and the officer ends up not pursuing him at that time. So the young man goes back to his house and the officer meets him there. Upon the officer meeting him at his house, he's yelling out at the officer. The officer's yelling for him to come outside. He's yelling that he's not going outside. And the officer eventually comes into the house, breaks down the bathroom door, sicks a dog on the young man, and then tases him twice. Needless to say, all of charges that were previously against the young man has been thrown out regarding this, because he was charged with evading arrest. He was immediately, all of those have been thrown out, of course. He's not going to be held responsible for any of the charges that could have been brought up on him on this specific matter. But with that being said, one of the main reasons why he didn't want to give the police officer his name in the first place was because he had a warrant out for his arrest. Yes, he had a warrant out for his arrest. So even though the police officer, in my estimation, did his job incorrectly, his instincts were, well, I'm not sure what his instincts are. Let me not assume or come to any kind of estimation about what the gentleman was thinking. But he probably did need to know who that man was, because he had a warrant out for his arrest. Look, for future reference, anyone who's an adult, if you're out in the street, you do not have your ID, you could have not been in any bit of trouble ever in your life. A police officer in the United States of America comes up to you and you do not have, they can take you in. They don't have to. They can let you go also, but they can take you in to find out who you are. Why is there a law like this in the entirety of the United States of America, as far as I know? You see, back in the days when they used to have chain gangs, people used to break out of prison all the time. Breaking out of prison was a normal thing. People would break out of prison. Seriously. So you had to be able to find people. And if you even want to go even further back to why they do things like this, in slavery, when they used to see a black man, they would approach you to find out if you had papers showing that you was a free black man. That's even if you want to go back further. So yes, this is a law in America. And I don't think that the police officer should be let off because he did not do his job appropriately. If when he approached the young man and the young man said he did not have his ID and he decided to hook him up right then and there, then he would have been inside of the law. But by him deciding to wait until that young man said, I want your name, I want to know who you are, for him to decide to wait for that, that made everything that the police officer did after that, in my opinion, spiteful. It made it outside of the law. He wasn't following the law when he was making his decisions then. So that's my opinion on this. Anyway, so I'm not even 100% sure what they're going to do with the case that he was originally arrested for, because the man's free now. So I guess he went to court. He handled whatever. They had the warrant out for him and everything. So because he's free now. If y'all want to know, he's the gentleman in the middle. In the picture up there, he's the gentleman in the middle, the short gentleman. Anyway, I want to know what y'all guys think about this. I want to know what y'all guys think about this. And I want to know what y'all guys think about my opinion on this. Not for nothing. Leave the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. If you haven't hit that notification bell yet, you playing yourself. Share. And that's all I got on this one. I'm out.